So, powder dyed. And I just wanted to spend a little time talking about people thinking about getting into the hobby. Because veterinary medicine is now priced like human medicine. And it's far, far out of reach of most people. When you get into like the bird breeding hobby, if you're planning on making your mortgage and a car payment, you can't take birds to the vet. So what that means is you end up making a lot of life or death choices. And sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. And you have to kind of be sturdy of spirit to be in this hobby, because it's not easy. I show you guys all the little babies and everything, and it looks very cute. But, for instance, these two who were really struggling to make it, I jumped through all kinds of hoops to get them to survive. These are, what do you call it? This is Blanca's babies, and Blanca just quit feeding them when they were 4 weeks old. 4 weeks and 2 days. And for the last 4 or 5 days, I have been really struggling to motivate them to continue trying to learn how to eat. First, I put in some older chicks. And that worked for a little while, kind of perked them up. And then I put in their father, he was separated from them for over a week. And I suspect he actually does feed them occasionally. He obviously knew the difference between his 2 chicks and the other 2 that I put in there, and he wasn't having much to do with them. But the big thing that happened is Haverty's 2 chicks, the 2 older ones, still had it going on. They expected the world to help them. So when I put the male in there, they started chasing him around and screaming like crazy to get him to feed them. Whereas these 2 little ones, Blanca had taught them, don't ask for food because you ain't going to get it. So they were totally unresponsive. It was like learned helplessness. And having the other 2 chicks in there that would go and eat and chase an adult bird around to try and get fed woke these 2 back up again. So did I know that's what was going to happen? No. I just keep trying until something works. I also fed them some pablum, some oatmeal baby cereal that's watered down enough to fit into a big needle syringe. So it's not really a needle, it's just basically a little pipette type of thing. Especially the younger one. The older one was he's 2 days older, and when they're in their 4th week, a couple of days makes a big difference. So at this point, the larger one, who's Haverty's chick, that was fostered over, is 5 weeks old, and life is looking much better. They're eating, they're active and moving around, they follow their father around. I don't think he feeds them very often, but a huge part of what an adult bird has to do is just go down and show them what they're supposed to eat. So they'll follow him down, and he's done in a few moments, but now they're far enough into this where they stay down there and keep trying to eat. So I'm pretty close to thinking that these 2 are going to make it. It's not going to be an easy ride, but they're fighting hard enough. A couple of things. They really don't know what to eat. So if you let their cage get too dirty on the bottom, they'll spend half a day chewing on their own dried up poops rather than food. So when you're struggling to get 4-week and young 5-week-old babies to learn to eat without parental assistance, one of the first things you have to do is clean that cage every morning so they have a clean white slate to work with. Replace the food on the plate. Everything has to be fresh and new so that they can tell what's food and what isn't. So that's a part of the deal. Have I lost chicks in this situation before? Absolutely. And I've force-fed some and killed them by accident, and, it's just, keeping animals is not all sweetness and light, and sometimes you make mistakes. I'm pretty sure I threw away a few perfectly viable eggs before I figured out how to candle eggs. That kind of thing. But you get better at it as you go and develop enough expertise so that at this point I actually lose fairly few birds. But I still make stupid mistakes. I mean, the reason they were all sick this breeding season is because I didn't worm them. Or actually, it was the parasites. I didn't treat them for my antimicrobials for a year or more. And apparently their parasite load built up enough to stymie the whole situation. And that was just my error, you know. But Keith, there's a reality to keeping any kind of animal. You do the best you can for them. I have taught myself how to use medications and how to do a parasite protocol on these birds, which I'll happily share. But there's a lot to this, and actually, English budgies are really hard to breed because they're like Great Danes and bulldogs. They're not what Mother Nature intended anymore. Humans have altered them. So you can get little tiny parakeets like this who can lay 6 eggs and bring up 6 chicks, and they'll all be fine. But when you got baby birds like this, they simply cannot do it. Do you see how much bigger that chick is? Who is just 5 weeks old compared to that. These guys are tiny. I mean, I have 8 of them in here, and they're actually reasonably comfortable. You know, because they're tiny little things. And when you're bringing up tiny little babies that only need 1/3 the amount of food that an English budgie chick needs, then yeah, you can bring up 6 of them in the nest. But it ain't going to happen with these little guys. It just isn't. The demands that the extra feather and the extra size put on their bodies means that you have to be more careful and more thoughtful. So, yeah. So that's my kind of pep talk for anybody who, when you run into troubles, and you will, and when you make mistakes, and you will, all you can do is the best you can do. Educate yourself. I'm actually planning on redoing all my medical videos to try and kind of tidy it up so the information is a little more accessible. But first I have to move, and that's a lot, so it'll have to be later on this summer. So this guy up here, this is Neptune, and as you can see, he has something going on with his shoulder up there. He still flies, but he was also, Peridot was in there, and they were fighting over a hen, and Peridot's way bigger and way younger than Neptune and was beating the heck out of him. And so now I'm wondering if this is something to do with his wing, an injury, or is this a growth or something? I looked at it, but I can't really tell what's going on underneath that. But I figure if I bring him in here and let him rest, he's showing every sign that he wants to get over this. And watch him if he starts showing any signs of infection or anything, although he just had a course of antibiotics, so I'm kind of thinking that's not going to happen. But just bring him in here and watch him. I'm looking at his poo on the bottom of the cage to see that it's normal, and it is. He's eating. As you can see, he loves his millet, and he's got peeled seed in there, and he made some dents in that. So I think he's going to be okay. He just needs some rest. I thought about bringing his hen in here with him, but if I did that, then he'd start feeding her and courting her, and he needs to rest. So he's in here. He knows there's other birds in here from his flock and stuff. He knows he's not lost, and I just want him to rest. So a large part of how these birds do is just give them a break. Life is hard. I can give him sick leave, you know. So anyway, I think these 2 little guys are going to make it. See the little guy over there? They've been sitting in front of this food bowl and picking out seed and peeling it and eating it for a couple of days now. So I see that they're probably going to make it, and I'm happy about that. And once you get them to 5 weeks, your chances get much, much better. That 4th to 5th week is really rough if a parent abandons at that time. Once they get to 5 weeks, their chances become much better. At 5.5 weeks, a lot of them, because I put them out in the flight cage when the oldest chick is 6 weeks old, that means the youngest one's only 5.5, and they tend to do pretty well. However, these guys are not going to have parents actively feeding them, but just being in a flight cage with a bunch of older birds that know what to eat and when to eat it. You see him trying to climb this wire. He's imitating his dad, but he's not good at it. But anyway, just having the flock around them, they learn what they're supposed to do just by watching the other birds, and they get it. They may be a little hungry at first, but they'll get it. So, and there's Bubba Jr. down there. You're like, these guys are boring. Let me back out with my hen. Terrible beast. Okay, that's it.